Okay, so the first step you want to take when trying to learn a gun's recoil is to fire at this target at least 2 to 3 times without controlling the recoil in order to see where your gun goes. As you can see, the LK24 is going up into the left. This is a type of recoil called single directional. Single directional means that it's just going in one direction. It's not gonna go up to the left and go to the right suddenly, then go back to the left. There are some guns that don't have single directional recoil in this game, which we'll get to later. Now, I recommend to use the gunsmith build that you are intending to use for the game, because in my opinion, it's more practical to learn to control the recoil of the loadout you'll actually use, rather than using the base gun. So as you can see, the LK24 goes up into the left. So because it goes up into the left, this basically means that in order to control the LK24's recoil, you need to pull down into the right. I use gyroscope, so I just basically tilt my phone down into the right whenever I'm controlling the LK24 recoil. However, if you're using your finger, just do the same thing. Drag your finger down the opposite direction of where the weapon goes. Now, it is important that recoil is not the only thing that will affect where your shots go, so don't expect to always have like a laser beam when you're controlling your gun's recoil. Now, as mentioned earlier, some guns such as the MSMC don't have single directional recoil. As you can see, the MSMC went to the right, then went to the left, then it went back to the right. This type of recoil is a little bit harder to control, but with practice and good timing, you'll be able to control it well. So it is definitely a little bit harder to control. So what I did here, since it goes to the right first, then it goes to the left, and it goes to the right again, I basically pull down to the left, then pull down to the right, and then pull down to the left again in order to counteract the recoil. Now, you need to practice the timing and also how hard you pull down your weapon. Obviously, if the recoil is stronger, pull down harder, and if the recoil is weaker, don't pull down too hard. Unless you might end up with something like this. Yeah, don't pull down that hard. Next is to practice recoil control on the targets of the practice range. Try to relegate the close range targets to obviously the closer range weapons. Then for the mid to long range targets, use your mid to long range weapons, such as most assault rifles. Now, this doesn't mean that you should only use these mid-range targets and only these close-range targets for like what they're built for. Obviously, you can use these close-range targets for the assault rifles, but you can also push your limit and try to go for these mid-range targets with your high recoil submachine gun. It will be impractical. As you can see there, I basically almost used my whole entire magazine, and it's definitely a little more difficult. But this pushing your limit thing will make taking your practical targets much easier. So to sum it all up, wherever the gun goes, pull down in the opposite direction. And remember to not pull too hard if the recoil isn't that strong, but if it is strong, pull hard. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you're new here, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye. An announcement is I won't be that active in YouTube for a bit because school, and I'll be holding off my gunsmith videos for the next season because I don't think I'll be able to help you much. If I give a gunsmith video right now, then suddenly a whole new balance change comes next season. So yeah, so next season, that's when I'll be going back to giving more gunsmith videos.